G'day and welcome to Butt Cracks Gardening. This is gardening for your average bloke who, like me, has got no idea of colour, and the garden turns into a bit of a hodgepodge. So is there a way that you can make your garden look okay, impress the neighbours, but not have to get too deeply involved in all the names and all the rest of it? And there is. Now, for instance, look at this. It's a very dark purplish colour. And at the nursery here, they've put it with little green plants. I now know that, well, that's probably not the best way to use this plant. So now we're going to cheat and work out how to do a beautiful garden that will stop everybody that walks past without knowing anything about gardening. Now, here's the trick. You just grab one of the plants. Now there we are. Oh, that's not the best one. We'll grab a better one. That's a beauty. Now what we're going to do is walk around the nursery and try some adventurous things that really look interesting with this plant. And in my mind now, maybe I'd be looking at some silvery grey plants and maybe even more purple plants, so that the area of the garden where we'll plant this will be all of these wonderful colours. Now this could work. It doesn't matter what this is. Does it look good? To my eyes, those two together are really interesting, and people will actually think I've got good taste. Look at this. Now there's three plants that, to my mind, sing beautiful harmonies. This one matches that, but it's going to grow big and be interesting in shape. These colours to me are wonderful. There's the beginning of a lovely area of your garden, particularly out in the front where people will go, oh, gee, that's nice. Well, I'm happy with that. If you look, this was the original plant, this almost sort of blackish purple, and we've got all these wonderful things. There are succulents, in other words, sort of cactusy things. Just look at the lovely harmonics in those colours, silvery greens, but no pure green leaf plants. Everything here is all silvers and greys and purples, and I hope you'd agree that looks good. And that would be one section of your garden, and in that section no green leaf plants. Don't forget, you could argue the world's greatest foliage plant, the most beautiful foliage plant on earth, is the olive tree. If you don't believe me, ask Vincent, wait for this, van Gogh. He painted the most beautiful paintings of olive trees because he recognised their beauty, and he didn't have to fight with the forklifts as they go by. Now, I don't want to mention plant names in this story because it's too technical, but there is one, the mist flower, which is now called Bartletina sordida. Have a look at this. This is a garden I did years ago with purples and so on. But that plant coming through it all with this sort of bluish purple flowers is a magnificent plant. It has a failing. It grows all scrawny and ugly, and you wouldn't want to have it in your garden except for the flowers. So what I did in this particular garden is to drown it. Surround it with things like diosmas and this loropetalum, which is Chinese strap flower with the blackish things that we started with. Surround it with that so it emerges through them, and they look absolutely stunning. Think of purples, think of the fun you can have mixing them all together. Now, to say it again to empower you, all you've got to remember is sort of silvery stuff goes very well with these purple colours. The wonderful thing about virtually all of these plants now is that they tend to have pink or mauvey coloured flowers, so the whole thing when it's flowering will look better again. When you've got your trolley, if you're happy with it, just call over the nursery person and say, look, are these all okay? And I'll show you the one that isn't. This one is perfect, and if you're going to pick it on foliage alone, gee, that's good. It produces yellow flowers. I'm afraid I think that's a bit of a no-no, and this would be better if it had mauve or pink flowers. So that's out. Oh, and if you're thinking, well, I really do need the names of the plants, well, that's at the end, and you can go and look that up if you want. But do pick them right, and remember, if they're flowering when you pick them out to take home, they will flower together for the rest of their lives. And then it's all a matter take them home, the tall ones go at the back, shorter ones at the front, and the neighbours will gather and say, did you get your lady to do that for you? And you go, no, I know all about colour and gardening.